recording like a beer. All right, let's try that again.
Hello.
Okay, we're backing it up because it's your birthday, and I'm so excited that you would grace me with your presence and carve out a whole hour on your birthday. I feel very special. So happy birthday, first of all.
Thank you.
And I already talked
And
about how it's ridiculous that you're 58 because you look 38, but that's a conversation for a whole other day. I'm going to need all your secrets and everything that you eat every single day because that's really, look at you're glowing. You don't even have a single line on your whole face. You are gorgeous. I am,
thank you.
my goodness. So, my friend, when I found out that you were a therapist, I really didn't know. That somehow escaped my attention, even though you've been in my world for what, two years now?
Actually, it was a year in June.
Oh my gosh, that's it?
Yes.
Oh my God. I feel like you've been a permanent member. I think because you're so active and amazing. And I just feel like I've known you for a really long time. But then that's why I was so shocked. I was like, wait, she's a therapist? And then I was like, I have got to talk to her because art and therapy go hand in hand. And I have so many like genuine questions that I've always actually wanted to drill somebody on because it's well, it's just so relevant, but I don't actually know personally any therapists who do it. And I just have a lot of questions. So thank you for being open to
Of
chatting all
course.
things art and therapy with me. Like you're the perfect human. And I really appreciate your time and your big brains and your big hearts to share with us.
Thank you. Well, I'm excited to be here. Like when you were emailing me about it and you're like, on your birthday, are you sure? And I'm like, no, I'm going to actually be with a movie star. Like I'm not a movie star, but a famous artist. Like, so it's
No,
fun.
just a mom with like a serious art obsession.
Right? Well, and that's all I am too. I'm just a human who happens to sit her butt in a chair talking to people. When I first
So
became a therapist, I was like, what? I get paid for sitting here and talking to people? That's pretty
well,
good.
you're also changing their life. So it's not quite just sitting in a chair and doing nothing. You are being a transformative member of their world. So that is
Hopefully.
amazing. I know you so you're a Wonder Bundle member of Lifetime, which means anyone who doesn't know, we have three art clubs at Awesome Art School, and Tamara is in all three for life. So we're hanging out like we're married for the rest of our lives. And just so you know, I'm not going to let you down. Like I'm obsessed, and we're going to keep having fun to the end of days. And I
That's
just hope
wonderful.
I look as good as you very soon when I also turn 58. That's goals. Hashtag goals. Just saying.
Goals.
Well, all the goodness will rub off on each other.
Yeah. And Tamara.
Did I say
Tamara.
Tamara? I was going to actually ask you that way before. Tamara.
It's okay.
I know. That's like a big
you don't even have
pronunciation.
You don't even have to edit that out. Like, but
don't you think I would? You know me. I'm like I leave all the mistakes.
That's hilarious. That's right.
That's a thing for sure. Tamara, right? Not Tamara. Why did I even say it like that?
A lot of people do. I have no idea.
That's like a weird tomorrow, but like with a weird A at the end.
Right. Weird. Exactly.
I don't even know why I came out of my mouth like that.
And I often tell people, don't call me tomorrow. And they'll be like, okay, got it.
Yes, I do get it. And actually, it's funny because I already thought to ask you that before, but then I just get so excited and I can't shut up. And then I just...
it's exciting too. And I interrupt a lot. So
I do too. So we'll be great like that. We're fine. We'll be great together.
Okay.
So the reason I want to talk to you is because I got into art for myself. I never wanted to be an artist. I was never good. I was never a doodler. Like didn't even cross my mind. But the reason I even started myself was because I was freaking miserable. I had my 3 kids under 4. I was away from my support system, and I was honestly losing my ever loving mind. And I started like painting. I have like hobby parents. Like my mom has always like knit and sewn, and my dad like finished furniture. So it wasn't like weird that I would like pick up a paintbrush, but it definitely was like never my intention ever to like become an artist or an author or anything. So I was already a mom to 3 kids, and I just really found that being creative, like during the 1 hour of quiet I had while they all were magically happened to be sleeping at the same time was like literally transformative. Like, all it just was like, boom, like all my worries went away, all my stress about like, oh my God, the laundry pile and like the nasty diapers and like, oh my God, like what are we gonna have? What are we even gonna do? There's like 8 more hours in my day. Like all of that just quieted. I like put brush to canvas. It was crazy. And not only did it like just quiet my like inner crazy, but it also um it also like did more than that. It like elevated it to the point where I was actually even also having fun. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't just like lack of stress. It was like lack of stress and fun on top. So it was like, holy crap. It was really like a really amplification of such positivity. And that's the only reason I didn't stop doing it. It had nothing to do with getting good. It had nothing to do about like making something for someone else. It was just because it made me feel so damn good. But fast forward, whatever, my oldest is 20. So 20 years, I feel like I got better because I just never stopped. But I actually don't spend any time or much time talking about that part of it, right? Like, you know me, I'm like, let's just party and have fun, like, woo, and like, whatever. But I
Uh-huh.
gloss over all the heart stuff. But it's actually, and I'm the first one to know this, I know how transformative and impactful and actually crazy freaking amazing it is. And we need to really talk about it once in a while because it's like, no joke, it's like healing lives and like changing ourselves. So I really am excited to talk to you about from a therapist's actual point of view, like why does it work? Like what is it doing to us? How does it work? How can other people tap into that and not to get caught up in the perfectionism and all that stuff that can stop you from continuing to go. I know for myself, attitude is a huge part of it. You know me, I'm like, good enough, like next one, because that's kind of my way of teaching people it's okay,
Mhm.
just keep going. Like, but I don't have anything scientific to like back that up. So maybe we should start with just how did you what's your path to becoming a therapist? And also, I would love for you to then transition into how you found art as an adult, or what role it played in your life ever. When did that start, and how did it go? And I'm going to shut up, and then you can just go.
Okay. Well, so my life into a therapist happened 20 something years ago. 20 30 years ago. Okay, so I'm 58 and I went back to school when I was 23 and I graduated as a therapist at the age of 30. Like that's when I became a licensed therapist, 30 years old.
Yeah,
So I've been
almost
doing
30
this
years.
work for a long freaking time.
Yeah. You have a lot to say, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, and so what was my path into it? Honestly, I came from a super abusive home.
Mm,
Super abusive. Like like there were abandonment traumas as early as 2 weeks old, but like 2 years old, my dad ran me over with a flatbed truck. Like
oh
there
my god.
are a lot of things,
Oh my
right?
god.
And so I went to therapy as a 16, 17-year-old because I was depressed and eating disordered. And after about 10 months of therapy, I went, oh, what? People can be happy? And that was like a new concept for me.
Mm,
And so I said, oh, I want to be a therapist. But, I was still 16, 17, right? And so
yeah.
I went, but I had like it opened a window for me to go, oh, people can do this. But in my own home, I was also like, I learned very early on that if I wanted to not be hurt, I the thing to do is take care of the emotions of the abusive people. And so I got
Mhm.
really good at that. So no surprise I became a therapist because right, I just had this sort of inborn talent of taking care of everybody other's needs. And
Mm,
then I I mean it was so bad that I always wanted to be a mom. And when I but I was terrified that as a mom I would just damage children. And so I was so right.
a lot,
So I was
yeah.
yeah. So I was so scared of that I had an opportunity to go to Germany to be a nanny when I turned 18. And I went because I wanted to prove to myself that I could nurture children without hurting them.
Oh my goodness.
That's why I went.
Oh, wow. So you're like
Mhm.
facing your own fears, right? And also
Mhm.
sticking it to yourself, like, no, I'm gonna do this. That's amazing.
Yeah, 4 kids.
Oh
Took
God.
care of 4 kids. I know,
Yeah.
as an 18-year-old
Jesus.
old, and I
Mm.
was in charge of everything. Like, I was in charge of
Oh,
the cooking and all the things, and so I would lock myself in the bedroom and play classical music and draw.
see?
Uh-huh, and one of the kids would write me notes on toilet paper and tell me and push it under the door and tell me how much he loved me because he wasn't getting attention, right?
Oh,
I
baby,
know.
that's so cute.
It was so cute. While I'm, like, in there going, "Ah,"
Yeah,
right? And
I need
homesick
a
and all
minute.
of those things. Right, right, right. So we had there were they had those Disney books. I don't know if you remember. They used to sell kind of encyclopedias type sets that were super thick, and there were 4 of them in the set, and it had all of Disney's, like, Snow White and Sleeping Beauty and Dumbo. All of them were in there.
Mhm.
And so you could just, like, flip through and read Disney stories, like the animation ones. And
Yeah.
that's when I opened the book and I went, "Dumbo, I wonder if I could draw that."
Love that. Yeah, that's a
And I
really good inspiration. Mhm.
right? And I did, and when I drew him, he looked like the picture, and I'm like, "Oh, look what I just did," right? But I never had any there was never any space. So after I left my when I came back from Germany, then I got married at 23. Infertility hit my life. And then we spent all of our money on the fertility
Mm.
stuff. And
Mhm.
then my husband at the time, who was also abusive, um, said, one of us needs to go back to school, and you're the young one, so you need to go back to school, go be a dentist. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to be a therapist.
Yeah, yeah, girl. Yeah.
Right, right. And he's like, "No, you need to be a dentist." I'm like, "No,
Nope.
therapist. First of all, I'm afraid of dentists. How am I going to be a dentist? Secondly,
Ugh.
right?"
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
right.
Jesus. Yeah. Oh
I
my goodness. Well, thank goodness you stood up to him and, proved it to him and yourself. Like, no, I'm doing this, which
I'm
is
doing this.
amazing. Again, you're a very brave human, which I can tell already after 5 minutes of speaking with you. That is all of that is huge bravery. So go you.
Thank you. You're giving me goosebumps. It's funny because sometimes I don't talk to people about my life very often, right? Because I'm the listener and the
Hmm.
supporter. But
Hmm.
when I talk to people about my life and somebody gives me feedback like that, I'm like, oh, I guess I'm
Good
okay.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. That's putting it mildly, but I'll go with that.
So after I went to therapy school, but there was never any room for art. There was one time where I was in that terrible marriage and um I was just feeling so awful about myself. And that awful feeling about myself, um, what could I do? It was really the marriage, but also there was this foundation in me of all of that trauma that I never had really looked at. I thought that if I left my mom's home, that I'd be free of the trauma, but it's not what happened. So I remember one day I got some pastels. I don't know how
Mhm.
I got them. And but sat down at the dining room table and I did sort of this reflective work where I drew, like, I let my hurt child draw. And I drew
Mm.
2 things. I drew like a harlequin clown,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
the idea was, and I had one, so I copied it. I had this obsession with clowns when I was in that stage of my life, and I think it's because they are smiling,
Mhm.
but they're breaking right on the inside.
Yes.
So I drew the harlequin clown, and I put words on it, and I sat back and sort of empathized with the hurt parts of myself from a secondary position, if that
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Mhm.
Mhm. And so from there, I got some big healing. I look at that moment that was, I don't know, maybe a couple of hours sitting there as like a huge pivot point for me where I realized that I needed to do something different for myself.
Mhm.
And but I never that's the last time I did art. And I left that marriage when I was about 30. The last time I did art.
Mm. Wow. Just because you thought it was too busy or like, "Oh, that was a nice one-time thing," and it just didn't cross your mind?
My life was so full of trauma,
Mm.
and I had adopted 2 kids who were super special needs,
Oh, girlfriend.
right? Yeah, yeah, and one of them actually lives in a group home permanently. Another one actually had a plot to kill me, so she could get Social Security benefits from her sister. So, like, I if you can imagine, there was so much chaos, and then a divorce, and then I was Mormon at the time, and so I thought I had to be married to please
Oh
God,
my
so
goodness, girlfriend.
Oh, so I married, and so, like, and he needed open heart surgery, and I nursed him through all of that, and then as soon as he was on his feet and wasn't working, I'm like, "You gotta get out of here," but the right, in all of that, there's no room for art.
No, no. Yeah. Mhm.
No, and then a 3rd marriage, again, abusive. So, I 52 years old, I meet the love of my life,
Oh.
right? And he is, like, he's the first person who looked at me, and I was doing all of the like people pleasing stuff in relationships, that survival skills, right? And I would did something that was sort of people pleasing and deferring my needs for his, and he would look me right in the face and took me by the shoulders and said, "You have to put yourself first." And I walked around for like 3 or 4 days going, "What?
What? What is this?
Who is he?" Right.
Right.
Right. So I very quickly started learning to put myself first.
That is
And
really profound. And yes, to like your soulmate, because that is an amazing person who can realize in someone else what's happening so objectively. And also give
yeah,
you the permission to then also go pursue that. Like those are two even separate things, right? You can even have someone like, you need to put yourself first, but then you don't let them. You acknowledge it.
uh-huh,
Even saying it out loud is like huge. But then
yeah.
actually like encouraging you to then go do it and support you and cheer you on while you're doing that is a that's a whole nother level of wow. So that's amazing. I'm so wonderful for you.
Thank you. Well,
That's
yeah, and it took
crazy.
me like 52 years to finally
Right.
have someone support me, but
Right.
right? So here he is supporting me. Although we're taking care of his dad who's on hospice. He died at 96. We took care
Wow.
of him for 2 years. And then as soon as we finished, like, we sold the house that was his dad's in his house while he was still on hospice, and made an agreement with the people who bought the house that we would rent it back until his dad died. And then as soon as his dad died in October, November 18th, 2021, we left. We packed up. We had all of our belongings
Mm.
together. We left, and we've been traveling since then.
Nomads. I heard that
Nomads.
in your video. I was watching so you have two awesome YouTube channels, and I was watching one of your videos from your first channel, and you were saying that you traveled and you mentioned all the different states that you were in, and you were like, we settled down so I could take this course. And I'm like, okay, that's really amazing.
A
First of
year
all,
ago.
that's so
Yeah.
crazy and so cool. So
And
are
I
you
think
just renting just rent little spots, like,
we
for a
are
month here, a month there?
Airbnb girl.
That's the freaking best. I love
Yeah.
that. How
Yeah.
exciting and how fun.
With
And are
2
you still
dogs.
working? Oh, that's even more interesting and fun. I'm good with the one. Maggie's like 10 dogs in one. I don't know that I could ever do two. Are you,
Yes, I'm still working.
oh my God, you are still working. So you just do all
Yeah.
your appointments virtually?
Yep. Yep. And it's fun because my clients will
Amazing.
go, they'll see a different background. They'll say, "Where are you now?" I'm in Montana, right?
Like, just a different room, same house.
Just
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Just
no,
me
so
and my boyfriend.
been traveling. Well, the pandemic really did that,
Yeah, oh,
right?
for
So
sure. Yeah.
before
But
the
the
pandemic, we weren't allowed to be outside of the state that we're licensed in.
oh, but that changed too?
No, but who's going to
Oh,
enforce it?
yeah. That's great. And it shouldn't have an impact to where your
It
body is. If
doesn't.
you're doing virtual sessions anyways, who cares?
Right. Who
Well,
cares? And
that's
that's kind
great.
of moved
Yeah,
like that. So
exactly. Amazing.
I know I'm taking a long time to get to the
No, no,
point.
please, no, don't. Take all the time you want because
Oh, okay.
my
Okay.
whole day is blocked out. So you take as long as you need to. That's amazing. I'm
So we're going to be
curious.
4 hours later.
Yeah, maybe we should put it maybe noon will be a good time limit, but no, I don't want you to feel rushed. and I want to dig deep at least one time into this because
We will.
it's just amazing. It really is amazing for what it's doing for people. Like I said, I never talk about it. And it is something that really does interest me, even though I'm always like, let's, whatever, we're too busy, but it really is important. So I want to take one day and slow down and unpack
There we
why
go.
art is so amazing for us
I will.
on the inside. That
And I
is so
think what I'm
cool.
talking about right now is how to not let the blocks stop you, I think,
Okay. Yeah. Which
right?
is amazing, which a lot of people, first of all, a lot of people, just so you know, I'm sure you've already picked up on this, but when I got into this space, I was, first of all, teaching for kids. I made my first
For
books for
kids.
children. Those were
Ah,
for kids. I didn't make them for adults. I was teaching kids at the time. I didn't even dawn on me. And then I found out later, like from my YouTube channel, I was like, wait, like, oh, like the people buying my books are like grandmas. Well, they must be the grandmas buying them for their granddaughter. So that makes sense. And then it was a while after that, I'm like, oh no, these are grandmas who are doing it for themselves. And like it took me, I was like, oh wait, like I got to know, I was talking to people and I was like, oh holy shit, like no, they're just starting and they're in their 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s. And it was the first time in their lives, just like you, where they weren't taking care of someone else for a hot minute, like their first time in their whole lives, which is women. I think a lot of us are, because of society and culture and just expectations and just life, right? We take care of the kids, we take care of our spouse, everything else comes first. And so
yep.
it's not until we are in our 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s that we actually have a freaking hot minute to ourselves, to like finally explore like what we want to do. So just in case someone's like watching and who's like in their 70s thinking like, oh, they're so far in advance, like, you're not, like, you can start at 52, like you can, and take it to amazing places, you know what I mean?
Well, and
So
I just turned 58, so I started at 57. 56, I
bananas.
think I was 56.
And look at how far you've come already in such a short amount of time.
Without as much attention to it that I want to be giving.
Right, right. I think we all don't get enough time as we want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm building an online community too, but it's for helping people heal from trauma.
Mhm.
And so I'm just like in the next couple of weeks, I'm taking off from all therapy so that I can put all the pieces together so that it runs automatically. And when I put a video out, people
Yeah,
get all the stuff they
fantastic.
need.
That's
Right.
fantastic. Do you want to share the name of that in case someone wants to join that? Is that okay?
Yeah. Well, so if people can join my waitlist for a webinar that teaches all about that by going to
Oh, great.
tamararidge.com.
That's,
Super
oh,
easy.
so jealous you got your website name. Jealous.
Tamara Ridge, there it is. What's Karen Campbell not available?
Karen Campbell has been sat on by a knitter. She's knits and she's not updated her website in like a decade. And I've been stalking her for it. But I got Karen Campbell artist, so I'm okay with that.
Oh,
But
okay.
I was bummed. There's a lot of, if you Google the word Karen Campbell, though, like there's a million of us are artists. It's actually kind of freaky. Like, is it the name? Like, I was not my born name, but it's a little weird how many of us are artists, just saying. But okay,
Uh,
anyways, back to, okay, so your community and you're
I love
building this
detours.
community. I know, right? Don't get me started. So you're building a community to help trauma victims heal. And are you doing that
Trauma survivors.
through
People
trauma
from,
survivors? I'm sorry, that was a really
that's
terrible word.
okay.
And so are you teaching them
I'm
how
teaching
art?
them everything. No, it will have an art component because I have a lady there from Australia who is an artist and she has used my program and she's been with me a year and a half and she's really healed and she's healed enough so that now she can apply herself to a program so that she's doing the art studies for specifically for helping people heal. So when
Wonderful.
she's done
Okay.
with that, then there will be a piece in it. But
Amazing.
it's basically a video course where people are learning and I'm teaching everything I know about healing trauma. And then I'm in there every Friday night answering questions. And there's a community that's like a Facebook community, but it's not
Hmm.
Facebook, it's on Kajabi.
Hmm.
And so there's a whole community where we do 60-day challenge, 30-day challenges where I help people actually heal trauma responses in the 30 days. And so and I'm right now doing masterclass for understanding attachment as it applies to healing from trauma. So that's what that is.
Amazing. Okay.
And I started building that in 2018. But now it's really finally at the place where I'm able to put the automations together. It takes time to learn how to do business online.
Girl, I
Online
know it.
businesses are weird.
I know, girlfriend. That's been my last decade of my life. So I hear you. I hear
And
you.
we both are in the same class, in the same group, learning email marketing, you and I.
Oh, with who?
Ken.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Kennedy. I know. I love them. I became a
Kennedy.
lifetime member of them. I know they're great. I love his podcast so much.
Yeah, it's really good. Yes.
That's
Anyway,
so funny. I forgot about that. Yeah. We bumped into each other on some
I'm like,
in
hi,
their
Karen.
Facebook group.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I totally forgot about that. Yes. The business and marketing is a whole, that's my actual real job. But yeah.
That is the real job.
It is the real job. It is.
It is.
But that's that's a different podcast episode that we could unpack as well.
Yeah.
So your new YouTube channel is
I knew where I was leading up to, and I'm still there. They're still hooking it. Do you want to?
Oh, sure, for sure. Yeah.
Right. So we got to a year ago in March. So I'd been with this man for all this time. He's encouraging me to heal, and I'm growing and healing in ways that I had no idea were necessary. I'm feeling like a full person. And then I see the class, and it's a 55 plus senior community.
Oh my God.
Learn how to paint.
Okay. I can't even look at your face while you say the word senior. It's just so ridiculous to me. Like you're like senior citizen. I'm like, shut up right now. Like it just sounds insane coming out of your mouth. If you're listening to this and not watching, it just doesn't even make sense. But okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Well, and actually when I saw senior citizen, I thought, I wonder if I qualify. I'm like, so I Googled, how old is a senior?
I know, right? You don't. Oh my God. Right? It's so bizarre. Anyways. Okay. I just had to interject that because it's
so I was like, I'm not even sure. And then after that, I went, okay, but maybe I can get discounts at restaurants now.
You really do. You really do.
Right. So anyway, seriously, I thought, okay, I haven't been around people because we've been traveling for 2.5 years. And I've done all of this healing. So I thought, I wonder how I'm going to show up in this class. Because I usually in the past, I would show up with this huge internal critic and later criticize everything that comes out of my own mouth and like just really be self-conscious. And so I thought, I wonder how I'm going to show up. And it's funny because the icebreaker in the class was, share your name and how long you've been doing art and what's your favorite art supply. And I'm like, oh shit, I have no art supply experience. I don't know. Right. So I'm like, hi, I'm Tamara. I'm not an artist. I got a C in art in high school. My favorite art supply is the piano. Does that count? And so I was able to be there with sense of humor and all of the things. And I went, okay. But I noticed around me that there were people who were giving their introductions, and I could see that they had something else happening. Right? I could see that there was a lack of the work that I had done that allowed me to be free and say, piano, instead of, I like crayons, whatever. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And so I noticed that. And then as the class went on, it was a 2-month class. And again, I was like, in one of the classes, we're painting with acrylics, and I went, oh, I'm scared. And then I put it on there, and I was like, why does this make me so happy? Like I actually said it, right? And one of the other people in the class said, Tamara, it's because you're an artist. I'm like, an artist? How can I call myself an artist? I've never even read. And so, but I also noticed that the other people, like of the people who introduced themselves, who were tentative, they stopped showing up at class. And I'm like,
best of them. It won. Oh, that sucks. I hate that for those people.
I hate it for them too, but I'm also noticing and paying attention and thinking, what is that?
Right.
What is that? So that was in March of last year. And my first finished painting that I did myself was of my little Australian Shepherd dog, who kind of became my emotional support animal after we got her.
Yeah.
And I'll send you a picture of that so you can
Oh, I
share
would
it.
love to see that.
Right. And then there was a place I went with, I was going to go. Oh, so then I've kind of observed my own journey. And of course, I'm in your beautiful Facebook group, which I love that place. And I started talking about, I got to know a few of the members who've been there for a long time. And one of them said, I said, oh yeah, I've been working through trauma. I've had a lot of trauma. And people say, yeah, I've healed my trauma too. And I'm like, okay, you have no idea how much trauma I've had. Right?
Yeah.
Like I can't even tell you. But I started noticing and paying attention. And I've had a few clients during the work that I do professionally as a therapist who are artists.
Oh, no way. Interesting.
Who
Just
get
like
stuck.
like a coincidence? They just happen.
Yeah. So I advertise myself as a trauma therapist.
Mhm.
So there are many, many creative people who've had trauma.
Mm.
And some of those creative people who've had trauma find themselves, especially in big trauma, find themselves very stuck in the creative work. Right.
Interesting.
So like if I have traumas, and that's the truth is that my trauma responses, my places that are unhealed are where the voices will come from that come out when I draw a crooked line, when I draw a shaky line, right?
Interesting.
Right. So it's
Wow.
always from like unfinished stuff.
Okay.
Right. And so people who've had big traumas will find themselves very stuck as artists. And then
Wow.
I say, let's work on the traumas. We work on the traumas and unlock a few things. And then the art opens up again.
That is really interesting.
Mhm.
And also
It,
amazing because it means that everyone can also have the ability to overcome that. And it's not just there's something wrong with you and that's just you and your weird attitude, right? It's a lot deeper, but it's also something that can be changed and addressed.
every single one of us, especially people who've had a lot of trauma, but everybody, it's true for everybody. We all have something that I call, you don't find it anywhere else. I call it body history. And our body history is, it's interesting because we have good triggers, and those are the things we laugh about and with our friends in a room of people that have been in the same place where we were, like your Scotland trips and people who have been on Scotland trips, when something happens in a haunted house and you're around somebody who goes, oh, remember? And everybody remembers and gets goosebumps. That's body history too. But that's like a positive trauma response. It's a positive trigger. Our brain works like that, right? So when it comes back, like we'll have all the sensation, except sometimes we really like it. So we keep talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other times, which by the way, the first time I heard your podcast, Lucy and you guys were talking about the fairy holes, I'm like, ooh, I want to go find a fairy hole. You guys like, no, don't.
No, don't go in there. Don't, whatever you do.
Don't do it. Don't do
No,
it.
no.
I'm like, oh, that's real. Okay. But the negative body responses, like the negative body history, it's a conglomeration of all of the negative things we say to ourselves and the emotions that are attached to it. And that starts when we're really young, if we've had a lot of trauma. So when I was a little girl, I was asthmatic. I'm still asthmatic, but I was born in the 60s and there was no good asthma medicine then. And I've had pneumonia several times in my life. And so my parents were terrified that I'd get sick. So anytime I saw something that I really liked and I thought that would be fun and I start heading toward it,
They'd say no.
they say, you can't do that. It's too hard for you. That's what they said.
That's so mean. Not
Right.
we're worried about you. You might get sick, but just
you can't do that. It's too hard
do
for you.
it.
Right.
No way.
So that piled up in me.
Yeah.
And then
years and years of telling you someone you can't do something. Oh my God, that's just torture. Yeah.
So then anytime I came to a new task that was hard, and I figured this out in 2018, anytime I came toward a new task and In my family, they deal with emotions by overeating. You can't do that. It's too hard for you. Here, eat a hamburger.
Because that'll make you feel better. It's all
Right.
fine. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is great.
exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, like, if you think about it, if this had happened before, if I hadn't healed that trauma response
Mm,
before I found art, I would have been one of the people who walked away saying, art's too hard for me.
right. Oh, 100%. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
But I
Yep.
healed it. And so now I never think it's too hard. Sometimes I think, oh, wow, like you're a mermaid. I went, wow, that looks like a challenge. But I can't do that. It's too hard for me with, I do hard things. Hard things are fun for me.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Yep.
Right. So I looked at the reference and I went, ooh, I'm going to do her like that. And
Yep. Like
it was a hard
challenge.
thing and
Like it's
fun.
on. Yeah, right.
Mhm. Right. But if we don't identify what those things were before I figured it out, while I was trying to figure it out, that was in 2018. And I was following an online person who was teaching you how to do your online business. And she was intentionally leaving gaps
Hmm.
so that if you're stuck and you want to overcome that gap, you fly to Australia and you spend a week with her and pay her more money.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
Yes. Yep.
So every single time I would sit down to the computer, I get mad and go eat roasted salted nuts. Like I'd go like to the store and buy nuts and like, and so it took like a couple of weeks and I'm like, I cannot keep eating these nuts because my genes are not
Yeah. There's
I gotta,
consequences. Yeah.
I gotta stop. So, so as soon as I stopped, I was like, what's going on? Oh, I'm super angry. And then I sat down at my computer and I started to work on the same project, and you can't do that. It's too hard for you came up. And I went, oh, that's it.
Right.
And
then you're
and so
like,
that's when,
no.
yeah, well, and then I started, like I looked at my whole life and I said, wait a minute, is that true? Like, so I swam varsity in high school, unmedicated as an asthmatic, and went in my senior year to state championships with the relay team. That's not somebody who can't do things because they're too hard.
Right.
Right. So I just looked over my life and I went, well, actually, you can't do that. It's not true. It isn't even real.
Right. Well, yeah. Well,
What's
like flying to Germany to take care of 4 kids when you're 18, and you know what I mean. Like you've done a lot of things that are hard. Yeah,
hard
we've
things?
already
Oh, yeah.
established that.
I didn't even count that one.
Oh my God, that's huge. Oh my
So,
heavens.
so I think that like having done a lot of that work that cleared the trauma responses out,
Mm,
that's what allows me when I'm sitting down to do art to allow it to take over. That's why when I will say, I'm feeling compassion fatigue, I can say, let me just create something. Or when I get in a mood, I say, I'm going to go do art. And I come out going, ah.
Isn't that weird? I've
No, it's
experienced
wonderful.
that. Well, I know, but it's just so weird though. Also, that like scribbling on a piece of paper would like transform your soul. Like, what is that? That's so weird. I'm sorry. I think that's weird, and I do it for a living. But
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm missing. There's a gap in my understanding still between. So for you personally, you're saying that kind of telling your inner critic, that's what we would probably call your what did you say? You had a name for it. Now I forget what you said.
I call them
But
trauma responses. Yeah. Or,
right.
or,
But
or body history. You're talking about
body
body history.
history, right. And I
Hmm.
think the lay person's is just like your inner critic, right? Because they're that which is really, really, really common, right? For people who have trauma or don't have trauma, it's just some weird innate thing where
Actually,
we get
I don't
self-conscious.
I don't think it's when you say your inner critic, I don't think it's belongs to you. I think it's
Yeah.
an external source that doesn't belong there. So I don't even like your inner critic. I say
Yeah.
that's an outsider telling you a lie and you believe it.
Oh, that's really interesting. Well, from so this is where I witnessed this um as an observer. So I used to teach kids. I started teaching. I was doing painting so much, and I have 3 little kids myself. And so long story short, I started teaching kids here in North Carolina. There's we have a year-round school system. So there's 25% of kids are always out of school all year round. So there's always kids who need things to do. So it was very easy. My first business was actually teaching kids. It was like group classes for kids. And I taught them from 5 to 18. And what was so bananas, because I did this for about 5 years, I had some kids that I taught for those 5 years. And when they hit like pre-puberty, like 9 for girls, probably like 11 for boys, but I obviously taught more girls. They completely changed when as soon as those hormones hit, it was like there, and I know it's part of like the psychological development process of all human beings, but it was broke my freaking heart because they went from being like, I'm the best, I'm amazing, those little kids at 5 who were like, oh my God, I'm amazing. I'm like, you freaking are amazing, girlfriend. Like, way to go. Every time I was like, yes. And then I would watch them completely transform. They hit 9 or 10, and then it was like they were like, don't look at Miss Karen, don't look at my paper. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm terrible at this. I can't do this anymore. Like, it was like I would just witness this whole body mindset transformation, and it killed me. Because it was the same kids who just the year before were like, I'm the best. I'm like, of course you are. And I was like, oh my God. So I think that's why I'm such a cheerleader now for adults, is because I'm like, I know that there's still that 5-year-old in there, and I've witnessed it just get squashed. And I don't know. I think a lot of it is like, the development of the psyche, and you go from, ego to id and all of this fancy stuff that I have no idea about, but I've glossed over in college textbooks here and there. But so when I say inner critic, in my head, that I'm seeing those girls go from I'm the best to I'm the worst because they crossed their 9th birthday. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And it kills me. And then I feel like as adults, it just gets kind of worse. And so when I only teach now adults, and I don't teach kids anymore, I'm so like, that's why I'm so obnoxious, I think, about like being like, it is good enough. Like, you have to look at this and be like, I am awesome, because you really are. Because it's actually not about the art, actually, at all. You know what I mean? Because it's not. It's about like, are you feeling great? Are you having a good time right now? Is it lifting your spirits? Like it, to like kind of reinforce to them that like this is a force for good. So keep
Just
going.
experience it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Have the experience, feel the yes at the end. Because actually, if you do that enough, you will get really fucking good, because you've just done 100 things. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And like that,
Uh-huh.
it actually comes later, but it will. If you just, I don't like when people say like trust the process. I don't know why that actually annoys me, because it's not really trust the process, but it's like actually have the best time. And then if you
Mm-hmm.
just keep having the best time, the good will totally come, because you can't get worse with more practice. Like, that's why I always say that too. Like, it's all really interrelated. But can you talk, or can you teach me about what happens in our development that transition occurs? Because I'm like scarred for life watching these kids go through that.
Well, it's not as bad as you think it is.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Because it looks
So
terrible from the
it
outside.
looks terrible. Well, and I think that part of it has to do with like the way our I'm going to go to this food system is. There's hormones in foods. And so little girls at 9 shouldn't be going through puberty, right? I was 16, right? So it was a different time. But
yeah, well, I don't really mean pure. I meant sort of that developmental phase.
well, but that
It's kind of a
developmental phase,
precursor to puberty.
right. Well, the body
Yeah,
starts changing.
yeah,
And what happens to the brain when the brain starts getting those hormones is it starts changing connections. Things get slowed down. It's like, I think of it at that stage of development, which is earlier now than it used to be,
yes.
as right, like when you put a butterfly, when a moth goes into its chrysalis, it turns to mush.
Mm,
And when it turns to mush, that mush is a developmental stage, and then it becomes a butterfly, right?
right,
Well, for kids who hit puberty, the brain kind of does some mushy stuff. So something that you're really good at becomes harder to do, and it's a development thing.
right.
So it's not, and I think that what if you had a nurturing parent who was watching that happen at home, right? At home, who
Mhm.
was saying, you know what? You are the best and you've done it before. And right now it's a little bit hard because your body is changing and you're okay. Keep going.
Yes.
Right? Then
Yes.
that kid will say, ah, I am the best. That was a hard time, but that was my development as an artist, right?
Right.
That will happen. But
Right.
without a nurturing parent or with a parent who also has their own, if we want to call it inner critic, that parent does not know how to model.
Right.
This is just a hard time and you'll be okay getting through this hard time. And then that kid goes, oh, it's not me. It's just my,
It's a hard time. Right.
it's a hard time. It's just like the hormones hitting my brain and it's that my body's changing and that everybody struggles like this. Like all kids that go through puberty also go through a super clumsy stage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's the hormones on the brain. That's
Right.
what that is. Right. So if you're going to go through a super clumsy stage, why would that impact your fine motor skills when you're making art?
Right. Of course. Yeah.
Right.
So is there as adults, and if you have more to talk on this, please don't let me derail you with my next question. But
You're fine.
as an adult, then, because this is who will be watching this or listening to this, who experienced that, because I know so many. I just had a woman post yesterday in the group, and she's been a member for a very like years, and it was broke my heart. And she said, I still don't think that I'm good enough to be posting my art here. Like I hope you'll even she was like, I hope you'll allow it, but it was almost like, please excuse kind of how not awesome this piece is. Almost like I hope it's okay that I'm here, blah blah blah. It was heartbreakingly self-negative.
That's her
Um,
body history.
oh, it's just so crushing. Of course, you know me, I came in the comments and I was like, girlfriend,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I don't know how you can be hanging out with me that for this long and not know that we do not care. We absolutely don't care what this looks like. I just like, it kills me that you don't feel that. Like, please feel that, because it doesn't matter. Like, we just love you, like we just love you and we want you to feel great while you're doing your art. We don't give a shit of what you're posting. We just want you to be proud and you to be good. So how do we take this girl who loves herself at 5, hates herself at 9, and then is now 69, who is having a really hard time still all these years later with their negative body history, just simply post what actually was a very quality piece of artwork in a Facebook group in front of others. Like how do we help these women other than me just battering my heart emojis on them? Because I'm like, just feel that you're amazing. Like, how can I help people as the leader of this large group of amazing people? What can we do to help them get over that?
That's a really great question. I have a friend in the Facebook group who has been so wonderful that I've posted a few times myself in the group and said, I am having a really hard time right now. And then
Yeah.
she DMs me and we've messaged each other all like, so,
Oh,
but she also has been there a long time and her art is beautiful. And she says, yeah, I don't think I'm that good. And I'm like, what?
yeah.
Right.
Yes. I
Right.
know
And
those
so
people as well. Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yes.
And nobody, I don't think it's my place to say how we can help. Like it's not because I'm just a member and a person, right? But I think how we can help is, it's interesting because I think that there's every single time we reinforce I'm not good enough by like if I post something into the Facebook group and say, I hope this is okay that I do this, and I put it out there, I'm reinforcing my own belief that it's not good enough.
Yes.
And then that makes the body history even stronger. So the next time it gets even scarier.
Mm.
But I have like that piece, I put a piece recently in the group and I said, I have compassion fatigue and this is what I made because of it. And everybody responded and said, oh gosh, Tamara, and the eyes. And I felt the people were communicating back to me that the emotion I was experiencing was expressed in that piece. And I read the comments crying
Mm.
because it impacted me so positively. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So I know that when people say, we love you, and that makes a difference. So there
Okay.
is something there that always
Okay.
impacts me.
Okay, good, because I'm not going to stop doing that. And I don't think the other people are going to stop too, because we are raising a community of cheerleaders, which I'm very
Yeah.
proud of and very happy. So I'm happy to know from a person like this is working, because I
Well,
really mean it,
I felt seen,
Okay, good.
right?
That's amazing.
Your statement was, I see in those eyes compassion. And I went, and other people said, I see in those eyes compassion and the awareness of when to pull back. And I
Mm,
went, well, you're seeing all of that in this art piece. And
mm.
I just felt so seen. Like I'm getting tears now,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I think that's a really good thing to do. But I also think that when something consistently comes up in the group,
Mm,
right? When I have something that I call a split sheet exercise. So all of those words that she put in the post that said, I hope this is okay,
yep.
right? I would say to her, think back to where that's come from. Like, you don't have to tell the story. That's the other
Yeah.
thing. I
Yeah.
love telling people you don't have to tell the story. It's not necessary to tell it to
Oh, yes.
heal,
Right.
right?
Okay.
And what I tell people to do is it's a split sheet exercise. So one is put that statement on the top of a piece of paper, and then on one side of the paper, write then,
Mm,
and write all of the circumstances that were in place when that was true.
okay.
And then write now on the other side and write how this is different. So
Mm,
in this case, this person could write on the now side, because I don't know what happened then, but on the now side, this is a safe community. People always give me positive feedback I um when I when I post into this group. um People are genuine and caring. Although somebody recently posted and said all feedback is welcome, and I'm like, I'm thinking, I saw that post and I thought, girl, you're not going to get any criticism in this group. It doesn't happen.
I see
Right.
those all the time too. They're like, all comments welcome. And I'm like, same thing. I'm like, well, you came to the wrong place, because we are not going to tear you down ever.
Right.
Sorry. I
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah.
I'm not going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do it. I refuse, because it's
Even
not about that.
constructive criticism. Right, right. And I'm like,
Yeah.
there's a group called
Yes.
that will give you criticism, but
Yes.
did not have that's
Yeah.
not
They
gonna
will
happen
be
here.
happy to tear you to shreds. I know. I will. And I know something. I know people get actually really annoyed with me because I don't give them feedback. And this is what I say. If you want feedback, make it specific. If you want
Uh-huh.
specific feedback, give me a specific question. Please tell me how to make my eyes more realistic. Please tell me, how to
And
get a
you've
different
done
shade
that.
of blue, but don't just say all comments welcome, all criticisms welcome, because, well, let's see. Her head is too big. Her bangs are too long. Her eyes aren't, geez.
Well, but you know what though? I think I posted something in the group and you said something to me in the group like, I know that you're wanting to do realistic and the eyes are a lot smaller than they seem when you're drawing them. And I'm like, well, thank you for that, Karen. I appreciate it. And then over time, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to draw realistic drawings and I like those fucking big eyes. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh,
okay?
I've already said fuck like 3 times, so you're fine. Yeah. It's like my favorite word, but I'm not on camera, so sometimes it just seeps
Uh,
through. So yeah, girlfriend. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a
yeah.
sailor. My whole
Yeah.
family, kids, all of us. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. I would say if there was a way to encourage people to, like, I've got a video on my regular YouTube channel, the established one, that
Mhm.
talks about that split sheet exercise,
Oh, okay.
right? And I can
Oh,
share
can
it
I?
with you.
Yeah, I would love that if I could share that with them, because I see the struggle in some people, and like I said, it breaks my heart, and so I would love to give them something concrete, um, to say, even something like, it seems like you're battling with your inner demons or something, here's a resource that might help you turn those negative thoughts around, or something like that. Would that help? Is that a
Mhm.
good way to frame it?
I think that if I were seeing something like that, I would send a private message that would say,
Oh,
hey,
that's true. Yeah.
I noticed that you said, I hope it's okay if I post here. I want you to know that you're welcome, but I'm hearing that something inside of you thinks you're not.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And this might help with that.
This is really helpful. This is very helpful, because, there's a lot of us in the group that are all paying attention to who is feeling, insecure or not good enough. And so if this is something, I'm excited to share this video with my magical team, but also other people. So the more people who actually have some tools to help our friends who are not feeling up to snuff, but who should never be feeling like that, right? So, and
Right.
I wouldn't never want to step on anybody's toes and overstep, but if it's clearly obvious that they're battling, and some people will even say, oh, I know, I'm self-sabotaging and I can't stop thinking this way or whatever. So, but I think
Well,
that's fantastic. And so thanks for giving us some language is I guess what I wanted to say. That's thoughtful language that we could use
well,
to reach out.
and I think too that if somebody watches this episode is this going on the podcast?
I have no idea where it's going, but I feel like
Ah,
it's going to help a lot of people. So
well,
probably
because
YouTube.
then this would give people permission to say, oh, okay, there is a way for, because the thing that I hate, the thing that bothers me and hurts me the most
Hmm.
is that when people struggle this way and they believe it's them,
I think they all
right?
believe it's them.
Like when you say your inner critic, and I'm like, nope, that's not yours. That's
Yes.
somebody outside of you that doesn't belong, that
And I
makes
agree
you
with
believe
that.
lies.
But I think the person saying that doesn't think of it like that.
Exactly. And that bothers me. It like
Yeah. Oh
hurts my
no, me
heart
too. Yeah.
so much, right?
I agree. Yes.
Right. And so hearing people talk about this and like over my own career, realizing that people suffer so much and they think they suffer because there's something wrong with them instead of suffering because of what happened to them and what they're believing because of what happened to them. It's
Right.
so different,
Hmm.
right? It's like a game of, I like to tell people, okay, let's gamify this, right?
Right.
Start spying on that voice and go, where
Mm,
the hell did you come from?
yeah. Shut the fuck up. I'm good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like that. That's super powerful. And
And then test
especially,
it.
right.
And then
See what
test it,
happens.
right? So like
Right. Like
I
what you did.
something bad
Yeah.
is going to happen to me if I post this ugly piece of art in the group. And then I'm going to just post it because I'm going to test this voice. The
Right.
voice is going to say, nobody loves you. Everybody hates you. Go eat worms.
Yep.
And then you go up there and nobody says eat worms. They all say, oh my
Yep.
goodness, you did so beautiful. Thank you for being here.
Yep.
And don't ever believe that you're worthless.
Yes.
Right.
Hmm.
And then when that test happens, that's when you have to say, oh, because the inner critic will say, they don't really know me. That's why they're saying that.
Oh, right.
Right. And so that it's up to the person who's posting in the group to go, okay, wait, they keep doing this and they keep saying it to me in my trash art. Just.
Hmm.
So if they're going to say that to me every single time, then maybe it's not trash art. Maybe it's,
Hmm.
art is beautiful. Art is art.
It is. Yep.
Art is, I've discovered, and this is something that I don't think my partner understands it, but art is, so I've been studying with an artist who, Egon, what's his name? Egon, an Australian artist. And
I don't know anyone.
I can make, Egon Schiele is the name, and I can make really nice, realistic art, but I think that shit's boring.
Yeah, I know. It's too
Right?
hard. And
It's
then I'm like, I don't want to do something that's so stressful. I just want to have fun with my
so
little whimsical faces.
freaking boring. Right. Right.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I'm going to be right back. Can I be right back? Okay.
I'll also be right back.
Okay. Yeah.
All
Perfect.
right.
So I can make the really pretty things. And when I first started making art, like a year and 4 months ago,
Just so crazy, by the way. I still can't quite grasp that, but okay.
I started by making something and then showing it to my partner. And he thinks he's an art critic. He'll be like, that's not my favorite piece. Or, ooh, I like that. Or watercolor is your thing. Or right. And
Oh my God. He's
And
much
so,
nicer than my husband. My husband was such a jerk. He's like, I don't think anything you make in 2 hours is real. And I'd be like, you can go fuck yourself. I just had the best 2 hours of my life. I didn't even ask you. He was so mean when I started. He's like begrudgingly like, I guess you're okay. So funny.
that's so, yeah,
But
well,
like
that's missing the point.
it's totally missing the point. Thank you.
Yeah. So I worked last night. I worked yesterday. At the end of the day, I was tired. And I'm like, I went back to that class that I tend to go through a class 50%. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I go do it my own way. Right. And so like,
Which
I'm
is
not a
actually
lesson.
amazing though. Like when you get carried away and you get so inspired and you go off, that's like, in my opinion, that's the freaking best. That's like my favorite.
Right.
Sorry, I just had to interject that. That's like true creativity, like
Whoa.
taking off. I love that.
Well,
Mhm.
well, good because I don't finish almost any of your lessons ever because I'm
No, but
like,
well,
woo!
well, and I think it's amazing. People are always like, I hope it's okay. I'm like, that is ideal. If you get started on something and you get so into it and carried away that you run off and do your own thing, like to me, that's like the apex of creativity. So I'm like, oh, yeah, of course that's okay.
Yay!
That's like the point. It's like the springboard. Like you use the lessons. Some people only look at the references and don't even ever watch a video. And I'm like, if that's enough to get you to put pen to paper, I freaking love that. Like I don't care how you ingest it. Just enjoy and use it for your own. I can't love it enough. So yes, of course.
Yeah, that's how I did the mermaid.
Love
I'm
it.
like, oh, I'm doing the reference, right? So
Yes.
anyway,
Yes.
he used to look at all of my art and I used to like try to like get him to like the things that I did. So last night I sat down at the table and I'm like, I need to do something. And so I pull out my gouache and I pull out my like scribbly things that I had done in ink and I start doing that. And so we're talking about art before we took our little break. We're talking about people not feeling worthy to put their art on the group. And I look at every piece and I'm like, wow, that's your art. That's what I think. That's your art.
Yes.
So last night I gouached these guys, but they're all
Oh my God.
self-portraits.
That's the most fun ever.
That's
That's
the
the
most
most
fun
fun.
ever. And
It is.
like she has too much paint on her face, but this is just like a sketchbook, right?
Right.
And this is my favorite. This is
Oh my
like
gosh.
right as me.
That's
um,
actually amazing. Yeah. It's
yeah,
so
and it's like
crazy.
fast scribbles and then
Fun.
gouache, right? Fun.
Yes.
But so last night I'm doing it and I'm realizing when I put color that her proportions are weird. Somebody punched her in the eye and she got like a swelling over there. But I'm still doing it and enjoying it. And he looks at it and he's like, I don't get it. And I looked at him and I went,
Yeah. That's nice.
you
Yeah.
think I need you to get it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Right?
not making this for you, buddy. Yeah.
But this is my art, right?
Yes.
It's an expression. And so I think
Yes.
everybody who puts art in the group, that thing came out of their heart and
Yes.
hands,
Yes.
and it is theirs.
Yes. Which is exactly why I love everyone's art because of that, what
Yeah,
you just said.
it's
And it's
theirs.
not my job to take that away from anyone. If I did that, that would be the biggest, meanest thing that I could ever do, which is why I feel that so clearly.
Mhm.
So I guess that's like a big thing I wish everyone will take away from that, which is be proud of all that you make. Right? Good. That's what I say. Good, bad, and ugly is welcome because it's all a part of you, and it all means something.
It all
All of
means
it.
and like I can do like I tell you I have all my stuff packed away, but I have my art. Like this is my favorite sketchbook because I like how it smells. You can't
Oh.
smell it in the like on Zoom smell-o-vision. But I can do things like this,
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
but it's boring. Oh, look at there's another self,
That
right?
is so cool. I was looking at these on your Facebook feed. Yep. I was stalking
It's
you, just so you know.
I felt it. But like I could do this, but that's more fun,
Yes. I
right?
know.
And
I know.
and finding some expression of yourself that actually brings you joy is more important. When I had that one piece in the gallery, there was a woman who stood in front of the piece because there's a big piece, 3 feet by 4 feet. And after taking that class, in the senior place, and then she did a call for artists, I thought, well, what the hell? I'm gonna try it. Why not? So, right, I put that piece together and um And somebody stood in front of it in the gallery and said, "Tell me about your piece." So I told her about it. And then we started talking about the emotion in it.
Mm.
She began to cry.
Oh my gosh.
And then she
Well,
looked
how
at me,
special is that?
right? And she looked at me and she said, "It's perfect."
Oh my God, that's amazing. I love that. Yeah, it doesn't really get any better than that right there.
But that's art,
Yes,
right? Where
it is.
we put
Yeah. Oh,
something
yes.
out there. And, if we could sit with each other instead of being in a Facebook group,
Right.
sit with each other and say, "Do you know what I love about this?" And I think that's why
Oh,
I love some of the members of the group are so good at expressing that.
yes.
Like, here is why I love
I like
this.
it. Yes. Yes.
And I
Mhm.
want to get better at that. I'm not so great at words when they're expressing that way. I don't know why, but I sometimes I'll see something and there'll be movement in it and I go, "Wow, that moves me." And then I scroll instead of saying, "Okay, how do I find the words to describe what happens to me when I see this?" But I think that
Yeah.
that's the most impactful thing that happens in
Mm,
your group for me.
mm, mm. That's really powerful. And I hadn't even thought that far into that. So that's another reason why I'm interviewing you today is because, like I just said, I don't address this enough. And it is
Mm.
really, really important. It's the most important. And I'm personally glossing over it the most. So I thank you for all of your insights and, leading by example and doing some teaching. I think it's so helpful for me. I think it's so helpful for anyone. I think it's helpful for everyone who listens to this actually, but that's really insightful. It really is
Mm.
very, very powerful. So, and it helps us all, I think, to, it's really easy to just, scroll, quick, um, and sort of kind of slow down with our art, but also slow down with our how we're communicating to others about their art who are brave enough to post it, right? I mean, I know there's a lot of lurkers who will never post anything, who are probably in there every single day, just absorbing the energy of the group, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think it makes a really big difference if we are all be more helpful and more positive, if that's even possible. but but narrow down some of that emotional part of it, I think is very special. I love that. Do
Well,
you?
and I think that my own inner critic says, "Oh, my input won't matter." I got to get through that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because it does. Anyway, you were going to ask a question.
Well, I was just going to um I wanted to ask to sort of start to wrap this in a nice little, not a conclusion, but just change perspective before
Put a
we wrap
bow
up.
on it.
Yeah, which is just, although at the same time introducing a new concept, which is if you are like, if you're an art, like I want to know the difference between like an art, someone who's like trained as an art therapist versus how you're using it, which is using art and you're a therapist. And is there a difference? Is there a huge benefit to one or the other? Is yours just a personal journey that you're using for you to help digest your body history and all of the trauma that you are taking on as having clients who are sharing their traumas with you? Is it all of those things? Do I have it totally wrong? Like, how
Well,
does that
so
all relate? Because I know it's like a whole thing also in and of itself and by itself, which is just straight up art therapy. Do you know what I mean? And is it
yeah.
okay if you're not an art therapist, if you're just someone like me who just enjoys art, to still use it to heal myself
Oh,
to
yeah.
a
Well,
degree?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I, first of all, don't ever use art in the work I do when I'm getting paid for therapy.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't. But art therapists are trained to sit with someone and help them. So I've done, well, okay, that's not true. I've done sand tray therapy. So art therapy is not just visual arts, it's any kind of creativity brought into the therapy space.
Okay.
And you use that. So, for example, when I used to do sand tray therapy, I would have people go to a shelf and collect figurines and symbol things and then build a world in the art tray. And then we would sit and talk about what was in the art tray, right? So art therapy specifically, if we're talking about visual arts and drawing and things, it's really about, what emotions come out for you? What is the message that comes out here? Why do you think you use that color there? Right. So really using the art to explore the emotional world
Okay.
in a very overt way.
Okay.
That's what art therapy
That makes
does,
sense.
right?
Okay.
So like somebody would say, draw a figure and now put colors where you think the emotions are on the body. Like, where do you feel anger? What color is it? Where would you put that on the figure that you've just
Okay.
drawn?
So it's like a literal interpretation of your feelings inside, and then you can kind of analyze
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
together. Okay.
It's a tool for like, it's just the medium.
Okay.
The way I use it is the way that so I have discovered, and what we know, the interesting thing is there's no good research showing that visual arts therapy is better than talk therapy.
Hmm.
Right. So this thing that you and I know about, because like when I've had a super frustrating day, or when I'm feeling compassion fatigue, or when I'm the day after compassion fatigue, like I literally was sitting with a client who told me terrible news. And then I started crying. And I thought, okay, Tamara, you're over the top. It was only 3 hours of therapy, but it was enough for me.
Right.
And the next day I made art all day long.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, I'm like,
So
okay,
great.
whew,
Yeah.
I'm better. Right.
No, the
Right.
same thing happens to me. Yeah, 100%. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
And that's different. Right. So there's something I think
right.
cathartic
Well,
about.
well, I think that's like the flow. Like the scientists have proven that like your flow state like decreases your your blood pressure levels, and like it causes like a physical transformation.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that you and I know that that's true, but
Yeah.
research hasn't borne it out. So they haven't done any really good research studies where they're using art therapy and comparing it to talk therapy or other things and saying this person has less PTSD symptoms because of art therapy. And it could be because they just haven't created good research studies, right?
But I think you did just illuminate the difference between sitting in, but one is very literal and like you said, using it as a tool. And that's a very different, like if you put me in a
That's
therapy
right.
session and we were talking about it and I use that, that's very different than me getting in my flow state in my art studio by myself. So they're like in my head, they're like two completely different things. So they haven't,
That's
I
the
think
point.
okay.
That's the point. Because I think when you're sitting with somebody doing art therapy, there's somebody watching you. So I went
Right.
once, I was working in a group home, and I went to the art therapist studio, and she said, let's paint these rocks and paint the rocks. And she gave some sort of a prompt. And this was way before my healing. It was very early. And she gave us rocks, and then she gave us a like sort of a therapeutic prompt. And I couldn't do it because somebody's watching me
Yeah.
and they're going to be critical of me. And right. So I
Mhm.
couldn't be creative. So it doesn't
Right.
foster the creative flow.
Right.
It's kind of scary. But
Oh
I
yeah.
think, right. But I think that when we get into, and this stuff is kind of scary too when your inner critic is on,
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
right? Or just
Yep.
drawing a face, just learning how to draw 1,000 circles.
Yep.
That's scary when your
Yep.
inner critic is on, right?
Right.
But I think if people can get back, and when you say it's just fun, if your inner critic is on, it's not fun,
Right.
right? And
Mhm.
so one of the ways I also think about it, and I think when I first started watching your videos, watching the like in the classes, and it doesn't matter, you'd say, it doesn't matter. It's just paper. This piece doesn't matter. And that's how I got myself to the point where I was like, I can make, now I think, sometimes I get ahead of myself. That's when I was like, okay, it's all right if I make mistakes because it doesn't matter and it's just paper were very helpful things,
Yeah.
right? That you say. And I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. It's just paper. And like my mind was blown when I learned that I could erase, like, right? There's, and now I actually want to allow my mistakes to come across on the paper.
Yeah.
right? And now I
It's neat
want
to leave them there. Yeah. Yeah.
just need to leave them there. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it
fun
is.
to be able to say, oh yeah,
Yeah.
she looks like she got punched, right? Whatever. It's that's what makes my art,
Right. 100%.
right?
Hmm.
But if my critic is on, then I'm not going to see my art as an expression of myself, but it actually is. If my critic is on and I'm being critical of what I'm expressing, that's a reflection of me. And
Hmm.
then I need to say, okay, where did this critic come from? How long has it been there? Do I want to continue living with it for the rest of my life?
Hmm.
If the answer is no, then let's do some exercises that can help you relieve that so that you can be freer in your art and in
Right.
life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So did I answer your
Amen.
question?
I think you did. I think you did. I just wanted to ask because I have read that your flow state is is scientifically proven to have like benefits, like emotional and physical benefits to
That's your flow state. That's not
right
art therapy.
therapy. Yeah, no, but this is super interesting, and yeah, and I just wanted to clarify for everyone else who was muddled like I was,
Mhm.
because they are so that thank you for that clarification because I didn't understand, which is why I asked the question as well, um, and um, yeah, I've learned so a lot. I'm like unpacking so much in my head, so I feel like I need to republish. I have there's an awesome art school creed that I put in the workbooks for both the Fun Fab Drawing Club and the Mixed Media
I've
Society.
seen it.
I have it laminated in by my, but I don't know where I put it. And I'm just wondering, and it's something that I encourage people to say out loud.
Yes.
And I feel like I need to repost it so people can go print it. And that was really created. I think a lot of us who even have zero therapy background, I think there's so many of us struggle with the same things. So this interview, I feel like, is going to be very helpful to so very many people. Um, these are very like a lot of this is a lot of just a very universal human things.
Hmm.
So I just want to thank you for sharing all of your insights and your knowledge and your expertise and all your heart with us to just take a minute to like get a better understanding of how this is all related and how it works. Um, I just think it's really phenomenal. Can you be sure to share with me your links to your YouTube channels and the community that you're building? Because I'm sure that that would be an interest to a lot of people as well and help everyone have more
Yeah.
fun with their art and be better, but also become better people at the same time and like work on ourselves. I think that would be amazing.
Ah, thank you. And this has been so much fun. So I appreciate you taking the time and the invitation. And I'm going to send you a big old fat email that has like pictures of the when I painted my first dog and
That would be amazing.
my
Yeah.
first ugly painting and
I would love your first ugly painting. I know. And because again, the fun side effect, telling yourself to shut up, keeping going, right? Like just posting it and posting the ugly and the bad is that over time, you even as short as a year, you can make tremendous progress and you really can become a better artist as the side effect of shutting up that voice, whether it's inside or it's just memories of or an old art teacher who told you that you were no good, or an evil sister who was like, "Who the hell do you think you are?" or a horrible mother who never encouraged you. Wherever that's coming from, hopefully people this interview will bring
so
awareness. Yeah, go ahead.
can I add a clarification? I
Yes.
love you, Karen, and
Yes.
shut up is something that kids get told. And when we are adults and we continue to say shut up, it's like telling your inner child to stay in the corner and shut up,
Mm,
your inner child. So instead of shut up, it's
yes.
like figure out where it's coming from and
Okay.
teach it the truth.
Oh, and that's way more powerful. That's a
Yeah.
hundred times more powerful. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Ooh.
Yeah. And then the
I'm
the
gonna leave
video.
it right there. I like nothing to add. Like, yeah, like mic drop and done. That's amazing. No, that really like
Mm,
punched me in the face
yeah.
with that truth, and I'm living it. That's freaking very powerful. I think we need to put that on a t-shirt.
Right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my god. No, I have goosebumps. Oh,
Ah,
girl, that's the best. That was really good. It really was.
thank you.
Yeah. And then prove them wrong and go do more art,
And
Like,
then prove it wrong. And the thing that we know from research is that if we are keep reinforcing the negative track, telling the inner child to shut up and go in the corner and do that, that gets reinforced. But if we learn something over a short time, if we repeat positive things over a short time that are actually true and not the lie, that short, quick, frequent reinforcement will become the preferred path for our brain. So what that means is that if we practice this while we're doing art, not only will we get better at art, but we'll also get better at accepting ourselves as an artist.
yes. Yes. And then the more you accept, the more you'll do. And the more
And the
you
more it gets
do,
reinforced.
yep. And then you'll not only have a more positive brain, but your art will become better too because you practice more. It's
And
like
you'll be the 5-year-old who says, I'm amazing.
yes,
Full
yes,
circle. Yeah.
full fucking circle. Oh my god, that's literally the
Oh,
best. No, it really was. Oh my god, thank you so much for
you're
coming
welcome.
on
Thank you.
today. Um, I'm gonna stop the recording, but I really do want to wrap it up more
Yep.
personally.